francs from him. As far as fire was concerned, as Marius had no fireplace, he had simplified matters. Marius always had two complete suits of clothes, the one old for every day, the other brand new for special occasions. Both were black. He had but three shirts, one on his person, the second in the commode, and the third in the washerwoman's hands. He renewed them as they wore out. They were always ragged, which caused him to button his coat to the chin. It had required years for Marius to attain this flourishing condition, hard years, difficult, some of them, to traverse, others to climb. Marius had not failed for a single day. He had endured everything in the way of destitution. He had done everything except contract debts. He did himself the justice to say that he had never owed any one a sou. A debt was, to him, the beginning of slavery. He even said to himself that a creditor is worse than a master, for the master possesses only a person, a creditor possesses your dignity, and can administer to it a box on the ear. Rather than borrow, he went without food. He had passed many a day fasting, feeling that all extremes meet, and that, if one is not on one's guard, lowered fortunes may lead to baseness of soul. He kept a jealous watch on his pride, such and such a formality of action, which, in any other situation, would have appeared merely deference to him, now seemed insipidity, and he nerved himself against it. His face wore a sort of severe flush. He was timid even to rudeness. During all his trials he had felt himself encouraged and even uplifted, at times, by a secret force that he possessed within himself. The soul aids the body, and at certain moments he raises it. It is the only bird that bears up its own cage. Besides his father's name, another name was graven in Marius' heart, the name of Thénardier. Marius, with his grave enthusiastic nature, surrounded with a sort of aureole the man to whom, in his thought, he owed his father's life, that intrepid sergeant who had saved the colonel amid the bullets and the cannon balls at Waterloo. He never separated the memory of this man from the memory of his father, and he associated them with his veneration. It was a sort of worship in two steps, with a grand altar for the colonel and the lesser one for Thénardier. What redoubled the tenderness of this gratitude towards Thénardier was the idea of distress into which he knew that Thénardier had fallen, and which had engulfed the latter. Marius had learned at Montfermeil of the ruin and bankruptcy of the unfortunate innkeeper. Since that time he had made unheard of efforts to find traces of him, and to reach him in that dark abyss of misery in which Thénardier had disappeared. Marius had beaten the whole country. He had gone to Chelles, to Bondy, to Gournay, to Nogent, to Lagny. He had persisted for 3 years, expending on these explorations the little money which he had laid by. No one had been able to give him any news of Thénardier. He was supposed to have gone abroad. His creditors had also sought him, with less love than Marius, but with as much assiduity, and had not been able to lay their hands on him. Marius blamed himself, and was almost angry with himself for his lack of success in his researches. It was the only debt left him by the colonel, and Marius made it a matter of honour to pay it. What, he thought, when my father lay dying on the field of battle, did Thénardier contrive to find him amid the smoke in a grape shot, and bear him off on his shoulders? And yet he owed him nothing, and I, who owe so much to Thénardier, cannot join him in this shadow where he is lying with the pangs of death, and in my turn bring him back from death to life. Oh, I will find him. To find Thénardier, in fact, Marius would have given one of his arms. To rescue him from his misery, he would have sacrificed all his blood. To see Thénardier, to render Thénardier some service, to say to him, "You do not know me. Well, I do know you. Here I am. Dispose of me." This was Marius' sweetest and most magnificent dream. End of chapter 2. Recording by April Gonzalez in Cavite, Philippines.